The difference between the man she flirts with and the man she obsesses over often comes down to one thing: how he touches her. It's not how often, it's not how long, it's how controlled, intentional, and rare it feels. A well-timed, brief, confident touch can rewire her emotions and bypass all the usual walls. Because women don't remember the guy who complimented them the most. They remember the one whose energy they felt without words. Touch is everything. It bypasses logic. It speaks before words do. And when done right, a single moment of contact can say more than hours of conversation. The man who understands how to use touch in a confident, calm, and non-needy way becomes unforgettable. This is not about being aggressive or creepy. This is about timing, subtlety, and the psychological science of desire. Today, you'll learn how to break the touch barrier with purpose and build sexual tension that she can feel in her chest long after you leave the room. If this message helps you grow, support the channel. Every share, comment, and like helps us deliver insights to thousands of men who need this now more than ever. First, let's talk about why touch matters more than words. Most men think attraction happens through compliments, gifts, or conversation. But attraction is not logical, it's emotional. And physical contact is the shortcut to emotional memory. A woman might forget what you said, but if your touch made her feel safe, desired, and slightly off balance, in the best way, she'll think about you for weeks. Touch is primal. It signals trust, interest, and dominance. But here's where most men go wrong. They try to rush it. They wait too long and then go all in. They touch when it's not calibrated to the moment. They force it. Or worse, they touch for validation, hoping to be accepted. That creates tension, but not the good kind. It creates discomfort. You must understand, breaking the touch barrier is about energy, not pressure. The right touch is light, fleeting, and leaves her curious. It is not a move. It's a rhythm, and when done properly, it changes how she sees you. She stops viewing you as another guy. She starts wondering why your presence feels different. That's the power of well-placed physical contact. Number 1. Hand placement mastery. Touch isn't just about doing it, it's about doing it right. Where your hands go, how long they stay, and how confidently you place them can mean the difference between instant attraction and instant shutdown. Most men struggle here. They hesitate, they guess, they fumble, or worse, they go too far, too fast, and trigger resistance or retreat. Playboys, those who understand female psychology and social energy, never make that mistake. Their touch is calculated, soft yet firm, and always aligned with emotional energy. They don't force compliance. They guide experience. That's why every touch they make lands with impact. Let's break down exactly how to master this. 1. Hands start at neutral zones. You don't begin physical contact with intimate areas. You begin in safe zones: the arms, the back of the hand, the upper back, and occasionally the knee if seated closely. These zones are socially acceptable but still sensitive. They allow you to establish comfort without being invasive. Example: you're sitting beside her and the energy's light. While laughing, you place your hand on her forearm for a brief moment. You're not grabbing, you're not rubbing, you're placing. And your palm should rest flat and light, not clingy or curled. This tells her, I'm in control, I'm present, I'm not needy. It's subtle dominance, and it sets the stage for deeper contact later. 2. Time your touch to emotional highs or transitions. You never place your hand in silence with no buildup. That feels random, and randomness triggers defense. The best time to initiate touch is either during an emotional high, laughter, excitement, surprise, or during a deepening moment, sharing something real, pausing mid-sentence. Why? Because her guard is either down or her emotions are wide open. Both make her more receptive. You're not sneaking in touch. You're anchoring the emotion she already feels. Example: she laughs and leans toward you. You reach and place your hand lightly on her back for 1 second. You say nothing about it. You smile, then you move on. That touch becomes an exclamation point on her emotion. She now ties your presence to the way she felt in that exact moment. 3. Use the rest and release rule. When placing your hand, never cling or grab. Place it gently. Let it rest. Then, within 2 to 3 seconds, remove it confidently. Don't wait for her reaction. Don't stare. Just remove and continue as if nothing happened. This does 2 things. It avoids overstaying your welcome. It communicates emotional independence. She starts to feel like your touch is intentional, not reactionary. That's key, because women subconsciously associate hesitant or lingering touch with insecurity. Confident men touch and move. That motion becomes a powerful loop of controlled presence. Example: she says something funny, and you lean slightly. Place your hand on her knee, if seated close enough. Hold it for just 2 seconds, then remove it like it was nothing. That's not about sexual energy. It's about groundedness. You're not taking anything from her. You're just showing her, I'm here, and I move on my own timing. 4. Be aware of escalation triggers. Once you've touched her comfortably 3 to 5 times in different social zones, she's either comfortable or she's not. If she stays close, if she touches you back, if she leans in, you escalate. If she pulls away, shifts posture, or doesn't mirror, you stay still or pull back. Touch should always be met with feedback, even if it's subtle. You're not asking permission, but you're reading her body. Escalation signals. She doesn't move when you touch. She touches you back. She plays with her hair, jewelry, or adjusts her position closer to you. She mimics your movement. If you see 2 or more of these, advance slightly. Place your hand on her upper thigh, her lower back, or hold her hand for longer. If you see resistance, do nothing. Give space. That contrast builds desire faster than forced escalation. 5. Never touch and wait for a reaction. The moment you touch and stare, wait, or seek approval, you've lost the power. You must act like your touch is natural and normal. That removes pressure and makes her feel safe. Confidence is not shown in how much you touch. It's shown in how effortlessly you touch and withdraw. Example: you're walking beside her, guiding her through a crowd. You place your hand on her back for 3 seconds as you lead. Then you drop it and keep walking. You don't turn back. You don't look at her face. You act like it's expected, because in your mind, it is. That's what power looks like in motion. Number 2, playful challenge. The second layer of building sexual tension through touch is rooted in challenge, not comfort. Playful challenge isn't about teasing her in a mean way. It's about creating a dynamic where she feels your confidence through how you engage her physically. Most men play it too safe. They overthink every move, trying to avoid doing too much. But playboys, the men she thinks about after the night is over, lean in just enough to test her emotions without asking for permission. When you touch during a moment of light teasing, like poking her lightly in the ribs when she says something bold, or tapping her arm while laughing at her joke, you're creating a moment that is playful, physical, and personal. It says, "I'm comfortable enough to challenge you. I'm not afraid of you." And when done right, it makes her smile, lean in, or even playfully push you back. That pushback? It's not rejection. It's participation. It's her joining the emotional loop you started. But here's what separates a man who uses this power wisely from one who comes off awkward: control. Your touches need to be brief, light, and timed to emotion. Not logical moments, emotional beats. That means when she's laughing, you add the touch. When she's teasing you, you return one. When she rolls her eyes, you might lightly touch her waist as you lean forward to reply, but always with space and always with a calm smile that says, "I'm grounded. I'm not trying too hard." Men who touch without this energy feel like they're grasping, clawing for approval. Their hands feel heavy. But men who know how to challenge with light, brief touches are magnetic. Why? Because they flip the polarity. Instead of the man proving himself, he's subtly provoking her to rise to his level. It says, "I'm comfortable touching you, not because I'm desperate, but because I lead with ease." Here's the shift. You're no longer waiting to be invited into her physical space. You're inviting her into yours, then pulling back. That's what playful challenge does. It offers a small spark and withdraws, making her want more. It builds the kind of fun tension that makes her feel awake around you. And most importantly, it keeps the interaction from falling into boring, flat conversation. That playful contact adds emotional color. She starts to associate you with fun, with spontaneity, with flirtation. Now you're not just another guy talking to her. You're the guy who makes her body feel something with just one touch, and then walks away like it was nothing. And that kind of energy is addictive. Number 3, emotional anchor touch. The most powerful touches aren't the ones that come during flirting. They're the ones that happen during moments of vulnerability, connection, or shared energy. These touches don't just create tension. They anchor it. They link your presence to an emotional shift inside her brain. When done correctly, your touch becomes something she craves, because it feels like a return to safety, to clarity, to depth. This is called emotional anchoring, a powerful psychological phenomenon where a physical cue, like touch, becomes mentally tied to a specific emotional state. And once that anchor is created, the memory of that feeling can be triggered just by thinking about you. So, how do you do it? 1. Identify emotionally charged moments. You never want to throw deep, intimate touch into a flat or neutral moment. You anchor emotion during emotional spikes, when she's laughing hard, sharing a story about her past, showing nervousness, or expressing appreciation. These moments are open, raw, real. The wall is down. That's when your touch becomes felt, not just noticed. Example, she's talking about her father, or a time she struggled and overcame something. She's serious, her voice is softer. You're listening, and then, without a word, you reach out and gently touch her knee, or rest your hand briefly on her hand. You hold eye contact. You say nothing. Then slowly pull back and continue the conversation. That moment becomes permanently locked in her memory. It wasn't sexual. It was safe. She now feels deeply connected to you, without you needing to say anything emotional in return. 2. Use hand touches to signal emotional focus. The hands are powerful. They're a primary center of sensitivity and trust. Instead of grabbing, place your hand gently over hers just for a few seconds when she shares something emotionally real. Not a death grip, not interlocked fingers, just your palm resting lightly for a brief moment, then removed. That touch and release strategy tells her, I'm here, I see you, but I'm also not trying to trap you. It balances vulnerability and leadership. Example, she says something surprising. I don't usually tell people that. You smile, make eye contact, place your hand lightly over hers, then say calmly, you didn't have to, but I respect that you did. Then let go. That brief contact seals the compliment and embeds your presence in that emotional memory. 3. Reinforce laughter with micro-touch. Laughter lowers defenses. During those high fun moments, a small touch can become a joyful anchor. If she laughs, touch her arm, shoulder, or even playfully nudge her with your knee if you're sitting. Don't force it. Do it at the peak of the laughter, never after. Then pull back immediately and keep laughing. She'll associate that energy, that release, that safety with you. Example, she's laughing because you just hit her with a sarcastic comeback. In that instant, light tap on her arm, eye contact. Oh, you can't handle this level of wit. And then you move on. That small, confident gesture links your physical presence to her joy. 4. Use the slow withdraw. When she opens up. When she starts talking seriously or gets quiet, that's not a moment for seduction. It's a moment for connection. If you're sitting close and you're already in light contact, say your knees are touching or your hand is resting nearby, lean in slightly, place your hand on her leg or arm for a few seconds, then slowly lean back while keeping eye contact. That slow release sends a message. I can give comfort without needing something in return. That restraint is incredibly attractive. Example, she shares a painful memory and goes silent. You don't flood the moment with words. Instead, you place your hand on her upper arm, squeeze lightly, nod, then slowly pull away. Then you say one thing. That says a lot about you. That's all. She'll feel more seen in that moment than with any long emotional speech. 5. Anchor the exit moment. One of the best emotional anchors you can plant is during the goodbye. Don't just wave or nod. When you're leaving, especially after a deep or fun experience, give a hug that lingers just long enough, then release slowly. Or touch her hand as you say goodbye. The trick is not to extend the physical contact too long, but to be fully present when it happens. Example, you walk her to her door after a great night. As she's about to turn, take her hand, look her in the eye, and say calmly, I liked your energy tonight. Then slowly let go and turn to leave. That final moment is what she replays later. That's the anchor that reactivates her emotional high and makes her miss your energy. When you learn to use touch as an anchor, something that ties your physical presence to an emotional experience, you stop being a guy who's just around. You become a man who becomes part of her emotional memory. You're not just touching her skin, you're touching her mind. And the more women feel that level of attention, timing, and presence, the more they chase it. Not because you forced it, but because they felt something they don't feel often. Number 4, incidental contact. This is the touch that flies under the radar. It's the brush on the shoulder when walking past, the accidental touch when handing her something, the light tap on the arm when making a joke. These moments seem small, but they lay the foundation. The goal here isn't to make her react. It's to get her used to your physical presence. When you create repeated micro moments of contact, you condition her to feel your energy close to hers, without triggering discomfort or resistance. Start by touching with intention and detachment. That means you touch and move on. You don't wait for a reaction. You don't linger. You don't double back. The moment ends as quickly as it began, and that's what makes it powerful. Because she feels it, notices it, and then wonders about it later. The more natural this becomes, the more she will accept your touch as a normal part of how you interact. And when she does, your future escalations will feel effortless, because she's already accepted the idea that you two touch. Number 5. Claiming space. Most men try to build attraction by chasing it. They lean in, they wait for permission, they move in reaction to her cues. But the men who make the deepest impact are the ones who claim space, not forcefully, but calmly. Their presence fills the room before they speak. And their touch, when it happens, feels inevitable. Claiming space isn't about being the loudest or most animated, it's about moving with certainty. Women respond on a subconscious level to how a man uses space around her. Does he take his time when walking next to her? Does he lightly place a guiding hand on her lower back when leading her through a door? Does he position himself close enough to be felt, but calm enough to be trusted? Touch at this level isn't random. It's a frame reset. It says, "This is my space, and you are welcome in it." And if she accepts that energy, she begins to mirror it. She starts adjusting her pace to yours. She starts reading your energy. She starts allowing you to lead. Not because you demanded it, but because you demonstrated it. Let's break it down. When you're walking with her, you don't stay behind her like a follower. You guide. A light hand on her back as you steer her through a crowd, or gently leading her from one room to another, signals strength. But what matters even more than the touch is how long you hold it. 1 second too long, and it feels forced. Too short, and it doesn't register. When done right, it feels like leadership. She feels held, not handled. The same applies when you sit. Most men give women all the space. They shrink, they fold, they act small to avoid being too much. But high-value men expand. They sit with calm confidence. They rest a hand on the back of the seat, not to dominate, but to express ownership of their space. When she feels safe within that radius, tension builds automatically, not from pressure, but from presence. Claiming space also happens with eye contact and stillness. The way you look at her when you speak, the way you pause before you move, the silence between the touch and the next sentence. That restraint is what drives her wild. It shows you're in control, not just of your actions, but your environment. And when she steps into that energy, she feels claimed, not possessed, but led. This is especially important when the relationship is fresh. Early interactions are full of uncertainty. If you can use light, guiding touch paired with calm space ownership, you create emotional clarity. She no longer has to wonder if you're confident. She can feel it in how you move. But never overdo it. True claiming is always inviting, never forcing. It's quiet strength, a gentle steer, a soft but firm touch that says, "I've got this." And the moment she leans in, even slightly, you've shifted the dynamic permanently. You're not just in the same space, you're controlling it. You're building a moment where she feels anchored to you, not by words, but by presence. That's how you claim space like a man who never begs for attraction. He builds it silently and lets her come closer on her own. You now know what most men never will. You understand that the secret to breaking the touch barrier isn't found in trying harder, being smoother, or waiting for permission. It's found in presence, in restraint, in knowing when to touch, how to touch, and when to hold back. Every chapter of this guide wasn't just about attraction. It was about powerful masculine energy in motion. Let's recap what you've unlocked. You learned why touch matters more than words, and how to build sexual tension without saying a thing. You mastered incidental contact, the foundation of comfort through subtle presence. You implemented playful challenge to add fun, boldness, and unpredictable energy. You claimed space with confidence, using guiding touch to establish silent leadership. You discovered emotional anchoring, building unforgettable moments of trust and connection. You perfected hand placement mastery, knowing exactly where to touch and for how long. And you unlocked the final weapon. Silence plus skin equals magnetic charge. The ultimate frame where women chase, crave, and return to your energy. What you have now isn't just tactics, it's a transformation. You are no longer the man who waits. You are no longer the man who second-guesses his moves. You are no longer the man who needs her to feel powerful. Because now, you are the man she feels when you walk in and thinks about long after you're gone. That kind of man doesn't just attract women. He attracts respect. He attracts peace. He attracts options. And above all, he attracts on his terms. But there's one more step. If this content changed something inside you, if even one chapter made you say, "That's me now," then don't keep it to yourself. Support the mission. Every time you like, comment, or share this video, you're helping thousands of other men find this message. Men who are stuck, men who are chasing, men who are silently asking themselves, "Why do I always get ignored?" You could be the reason they wake up. Drop "unstoppable" in the comments if you made it through this masterclass. Let me see who's actually committed, not just to women, but to becoming dangerously confident in their own energy. Like the video, subscribe with notifications, share it with one man who needs it now. Because we're building a world where men don't chase. We lead, we attract, we touch with meaning, and we move with calm, unshakable strength.